Yep, so timer, and 3, 2, 1, go.
Hello everybody, and streaming to you from Brickfair Virginia 2023, this is Nack and Jay.
Hello.
Hello. How are you all doing today?
I don't know, I don't think they're doing very well.
I mean, you know, we're making do with what we got. This isn't a golden beach, but we do have golden stuff, you know?
I don't think we have any golden stuff. I see some wooden cabinets. Last I checked, wood wasn't gold.
You make do, the real gold were the memories we made along the way.
And I'm already trying to forget this one.
So today we are here, back at Brickfair once again, to talk about the 20th anniversary of BIONICLE 2003, regarded by many as when the theme was at its peak, or at the very least, part of the golden years that made it popular in the first place, culminating with the release of the first Lego movie, BIONICLE Mask of Light, which I'm sure we're going to talk about at great length, among many other things that the year had. Some cool, some, you know, not so cool. How are you doing today, LJ?
I'm doing fantastic.
It's the first time I've been on a podcast with you in a sizable amount of time, online or offline, so it's cool to see you here.
When was the last time I was on a podcast?
Last year, I think. LJ's taken a bit of a break from the BIONICLE scene, but he couldn't resist coming back to celebrate 03.
For the record, I could very easily resist. However, we really wanted to do some fun things, and I have, my pocket is burning with BIONICLE comics to give away. So before we fully begin, a couple of quick things. We're gonna have a Q&A section after the main bulk topic, the discussion happens. If you ask a question, come up here. I've got a stack of comics, and you can have any comic, one comic of your choosing. Another quick thing, we are kind of sort of sponsored, or at very least, I do want to give a fantastic shout out to Set You Up. It is the largest BIONICLE Bricklink store online, run by Alan O'Mara, and he is fantastic. He has always treated us so well, and he's awesome. So check him out. All right, real quick, this is post-production Eljay in the month of November, and really quickly I want to clarify a few things. First of all, this is not a sponsored video. We were not paid or asked to talk about anything or anyone in this video. We just really wanted to shout out Alan because he is a good friend of these events. We really look forward to seeing him every year, and he's always been super kind and super generous. So that out of the way, this is not a sponsored video. However, I do want to reiterate again that Alan's really great. He does run the largest BIONICLE Bricklink store on Bricklink. It's Set You Up. There will be a link to that in the description below, so we definitely encourage you to check him out. Second, there was a gentleman I met at Brickfair, actually a couple of times now, who I was going to mention in this episode, and like a jerk, I completely forgot, so I wanted to remedy that now. At Brickfair, I met a guy by the name of Dominic Forte. Some of you may know him as a contestant on LEGO Masters Season 3. Well, turns out he is a really big TikTok star in the LEGO TikTok community and a fan of BIONICLE. At Brickfair this year, he was selling these really cool sweaters, hand-embroidered BIONICLE sweaters. And I thought they were just really, really nifty. I got one for myself. He had them in a whole slew of sizes. They were in black with the white Toamata on it and in a UDD symbol on the back. Really cool. I was told that 1 out of 6 of them have a glow-in-the-dark UDD symbol. I don't think I got one of those, but if you're interested, you may be one of the lucky few. So go ahead and check out his store. Link is in the description below. I've also linked his TikToks. You can go check out his cool content. So Dominic, thank you so much for being so swell. You were super cool to see at Brickfair. I hope to see you again, and thanks so much for showing up and being a part of things. Definitely, guys, go check him out. Check out the sweaters. They're really, really awesome. And go check out Alan O'Mara, Set You Up. Thank you so much for watching, and enjoy the rest of the episode.
Okay, so without further ado, let us start where all the fun begins. 03 brought many cool things with it, many beloved things in the BIONICLE community, but none more beloved
than me,
the
because
bohrok-kal.
But what about me? This is when I got into Bionicle, or at least around that time.
Technically, you got into Bionicle with the bohrok-kal.
Yes, I did. However, I'm not sure if it was 2002, like December 2002, or like really early 2003. Because I used to live in California, and we would always get Bionicle sets like months in advance. It was the weirdest thing. I got friggin' the Bionicle Stars November of 2009. That's how early we're talking. It's the strangest thing.
We're old.
Older.
Yeah, Meso, you're old.
Yeah, you're old, Meso.
Hey, man.
Yeah.
I'm 30 years old. Anyone older than 30?
Yeah. 30 years old. Woo! No, I mean, it's just weird to think about it. Because I got the bohrok-kal too, and they were okay.
Here's my thing. We were talking about this the other day, and I think that the bohrok-kal have gotten a bit of a bad rap.
Deservedly.
So here's the issue. So early 2003, the bohrok-kal release, Lego's like, wow, these bohrok smash friggin' hit. So what should we do? Do that again. And it should be a smash friggin' hit. What they didn't realize is that consumers have a slightly longer retention of memory than just a few months. So they bombed hard. The bohrok-kal almost sunk Bionicle in its third year. Greg Farshey talked about this. He said the first half of 2003 was tragic because the bohrok-kal just flopped. They were not popular sets. It's the Rockshi later in the year that actually saved that theme.
I mean, that doesn't surprise me, but that's the first I'm hearing about the specifics of it.
It was a blog post on BCP.
Okay. Well, down with the bohrok-kal. Everybody hates them, including me.
My very first Bionicle set was galak-kal.
That's not, I mean, that's cool that we got you. I could do without galak-kal, you know?
Alright, I see how it is.
Like, they're just, what even is there to say about them? They're just bohrok with chrome.
Yeah, but they're bohrok. They're bohrok. I mean, they're bohrok, they're metallic, they're like, gosh, I'm a Digimon guy. What's a shiny Pokemon?
What is a shiny Pokemon? Name a shiny Pokemon. Okay, so any Pokemon can be a shiny Pokemon, I think.
Okay, great. It's like a bohrok-kal. It's like a shiny bohrok.
What point are you trying to make here?
It's their needs. You got standard bohrok, and then you got shiny bohrok.
Yeah, but shiny bohrok cost you a nice crisp $36.
Small price to pay for shiny.
Shiny Pokemon were free with purchase of a game.
Yeah, with purchase of a game. Okay, so not free.
So,
jeez.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Does anybody like the bohrok-kal? Give me like a whoop if we've got a bohrok-kal.
Like people.
I see it.
Thanks, Vince.
It's fair enough. I suppose everyone has their own preferences at the end of the day, but they're not mine.
No,
my allegiance is where it's at. The bohrok-kal. Okay.
The appropriate response was silence. Thank you all for your participation.
So, that's really what it is. The plot line was also weird with the Nuva symbols.
Yeah, oh my gosh.
Because what's the deal with Nuva symbols? Am I right?
Thanks, Larry Synak.
They just never showed up again or did anything. And isn't the explanation for Nuva symbols that Artaka just teleported them in?
Yep.
That's stupid.
Yep, so conveniently when the Toa Mata were becoming Toa Nuva, Artaka was like, oh snap, I gotta do something about that. Have some Nuva symbols. Because
why?
The Toa, I have no friggin' idea. The Toa trapped the Barag in a Toa seal. And then Artaka was like, we need a cool cube to just put on that baby, like a lock. And then we're gonna spread the keys just all across the island in every Koro. Conveniently, as Takua is about to get slapdashed by a bunch of friggin' bohrok.
Bionicle is kind of stupid at times.
Alright, if you guys want to boo him now, that would be totally fine. Thank you.
It's okay to acknowledge things you love have flaws. I like Hero Factory, I know that from experience.
You're just trying. First the Bohrok Vaughn, then saying Bionicle's stupid, then Hero Factory. You're trying to make enemies today.
I have something nice to say.
Is this not normally my thing, making enemies?
It is, but you've been on break. Somebody's had to fill your role.
Nice. I'll take that.
I do have something positive to say about 03. not to jump ship from the bohrok-kal.
I mean, there's not really much more to say. They're shiny bohrok. They helped get me into BIONICLE, and yeah, they were not a good decision by Lego. They really shouldn't have done that.
My opinion, which I know is a hotly contested issue in the community, is Mask of Light is my favorite BIONICLE movie.
Second favorite.
Most favorite.
Second.
Legends of Metronui is not as good as you all remember it being.
We'll talk about that next year when it turns 20.
It sucks.
Restraint.
Mask of Light is cool. It's like Lord of the Rings, but for kids. And I never saw Lord of the Rings, so it's just like Lord of the Rings, you know, for me.
Yeah, you know what? BIONICLE is actually like surfing quantum time and space. Now, I've never surfed quantum time and space, but I'm assuming it's something like that. Does that sound about right?
It's awesome. It's a good movie. It has
Don't
charm.
get me wrong, I agree. With one exception.
Yes?
Liwa's voice.
It's cool.
No.
You just want to be Liwa, that's it.
Yes, but also, it makes him sound too old. Like,
Does it?
Absolutely.
He just sounds like a hippie, bro.
An old one.
A young one.
No, he does not sound young.
What do you consider old? The Toa aren't teenagers.
I mean, sure, okay, listen, I get that, but like mid-30s. Liwa in the movie, it's like, wind, fly, sign, twister, I'm gonna go ahead and tell you a campfire story. So when I was 15 years old, see, it just so easily slides into he's ancient. And I get that he's ancient, but none of the other Toa sound ancient, not like he does.
I don't think it's old necessarily. It's just deep. Like, he sounds like an appropriate voice for what a dude would be. Weren't the Toa initially conceptualized as like deities?
They were, until Greg stepped in and was like, you should not do that. That would be a terrible idea.
Yeah, but I mean, it's not like Ninjago where they're supposed to be kids.
Perpetually teenagers, like older teens.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, I think it's fine. But I understand as resident Liwa superfan, you're predisposed to be biased, to have hate in your heart for the voice acting talents of
Dale Wilson.
Thank
you don't even
you, Dale
know his
Wilson.
name. I spoke to him on email, actually.
Yeah?
For my 100th episode of the Eljay Johnson show, still on hiatus, I asked if he would want to be on the episode, because I was trying to get him, and I was trying to get the guy who voiced Liwa in Journey to One at the same time. Liwa Journey to One never got back to me, and Dale Wilson was like, I don't really do podcast appearances, so that went the way of the Titanic.
So what you're saying is you were blacklisted by the Liwas.
So Mask of Light is a good movie. Like, I like Mask of Light. It's a good introduction. It did a lot of things that honestly took some risks, but those risks paid off because Mask of Light was like one of the most popular. It was, gosh, it might have been the most popular direct-to-DVD or direct-to-VHS movie in 2003.
It doesn't surprise me.
Top 10? There we go. Yeah.
Top 10. Well, that's still good.
Massively big.
It does not surprise me one bit, because that was when BIONICLE was at its height. I remember the advertising push for Mask of Light was insane.
Mm-hmm.
BIONICLE's advertising in general just popped off that year. Anybody remember the BIONICLE vans?
Oh my gosh.
I don't. I never experienced one. I saw pictures.
I just stepped into a couple of shoe stores about a week ago. I didn't see any BIONICLE vans.
Yeah, they did have actual shoes that were Skechers.
Yeah, wait, I thought they were Nikes.
Nikes out. Nikes.
Yeah. I always wanted the Liwa Nuva ones.
Why didn't you get them?
I was more focused on getting Liwa Nuva.
Why?
So Liwa Nuva was cooler than having Liwa Nuva shoes that I was eventually going to grow out of.
Just get both. Or you should have just got both and criticizing your younger self.
Really? You really are trying to make enemies today, aren't you?
We gotta get that Knack and Jay spirit back. We gotta fight about something.
Did we not just already fight about the bohrok-kal and Mask of Light?
That's true.
Ugh.
I mean, I just have a soft spot in my heart for Mask of Light. We watched it yesterday at Brickfair, and it was very cool. I want to get one iconic Takua chant in 3, 2, 1. Takua! Thank you. We do have a hand up. I believe we're taking questions at the end, right?
Yes,
Okay.
that is correct.
We'll do questions at the end.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't know. I just love it a lot. What was your favorite moment from Mask of Light?
I mean, I'm super biased. It is when Liwa shows up. Like, don't get me wrong. I'm not a big fan of the Liwa voice, but that's only because I'm biased. I think he should sound like this.
You said it wasn't cool.
Huh?
And your favorite moment is when he spoke?
Because
Hypocrisy.
it's still Liwa. Like, he's still moving, he's talking, he's doing stuff. Like, I liked that.
LJ accepting the bare minimum, confirmed. If it's green and walks and talks, he will like it.
Listen, all I'm saying is that they should have cast a child to be Liwa.
Uh-huh.
Me. This child.
How? I guess you would have been very young at this point.
We'll go very young.
You could have pulled it off.
Absolutely. I sound exactly the same as I did when I was that age as I do now.
Can confirm. No, him at a pretty young age.
Pull up the recording.
Yeah, we have it on recording.
We really do have a peanut gallery here today, don't we?
The peanut gallery is roasting us from the front row, as always.
But yeah, no, I do like Mask of Light though. What was your favorite moment?
Unironically, I've had a turnaround on something. A rare Meso moment of positivity. For those who know me, I'm famously cynical. But there's one thing in Bionicle that is hated on by many people and that I've grown to love, and it is a simple game of Cody. People hate that. People wanted a cool final battle. I think it's neat.
I'm gonna be honest, I also have no issue with this.
It's like symbolism. You know, they tie it back. Takanui uses the move he used at the start, trying to use at the start.
I mean, I'm not worried as much about like the symbolism or whatnot. Like definitely it's a parallelism to the beginning, certainly, but it's a little on the nose. I just think it's a good illustration of Makuta's arrogance. Like, the greatest threat that I have ever faced, a toe of light, my physical antithesis. I bet I could beat him at Coley. It's like if I went up to friggin' like, who's my antithesis? Sure, we'll go with that. If I go up to Ven and I'm like, I bet I can beat you at art. It's like, it doesn't work.
Fair. I just think it's cool. And also, maybe you can answer this question. If we can skip ahead from 03 for just a bit. Did Makuta plan to lose? Or was that an accident?
That was a backfire.
Okay. So he did not plan to lose.
If I'm recalling correctly, that was one of very few setbacks.
Oh,
Everything's under control.
nice. Thank you.
Ven and Zach are crab walking in front of the audience. They're good.
We love some good old ceremonial crab walking to celebrate 03.
But yeah, so I think that was his one setback, but everything else was planned. So,
Fair enough. Like, I like the movie a lot. I have more of a sentimental attachment to Motonui than Metro Nui. You know, no hate in my heart for Metro Nui. I just don't like the Toa Metro as much. And I feel like some people criticize Mask of Light because the Toa were barely in it, and I'll give you that. But the tag team duo, Jala and Takua, I think worked really well.
yeah, no, they're good. I mean, I think everything's really good about the movie. There's a reason why it was super popular. Casting is really solid. The script work is really solid. The animation still holds up after 20 years. If you consider it's supposed to be biomechanical beings in a biological world.
It's pretty janky.
Sometimes, sure. But, I mean, well, what's an example of something else that was animated in that time frame?
I don't know. What was some early 2000s animated movies?
Okay, like,
Treasure Planet, was that early 2000s? The Barbie movies,
Finding Nemo.
Finding Nemo. Yeah.
just,
Bionicle was pretty crusty compared to a lot of
yeah,
those.
okay. Well, yeah, Finding Nemo was kind of the winner there.
Yeah, a little bit. Okay, I mean, this is my first time talking about the movie art style on one of our shows. I will never not hate the Miramax style.
Really?
With every fiber of my being, I think it looks disgusting.
Really?
I am very much, okay, say what you will, I love Bionicle as much as the next guy. I don't want to be that guy, but the movies are like marketing. they're glorified commercials, and if they don't look like the toys they're advertising, your mission has failed. I would drop the mic, but it would hurt your ears, so I'll just do it.
Amazing. I think I have a love-hate relationship with the Miramax style. I actually do like it a lot because I think that you have the figures and then you have what they actually look like, which isn't necessarily even true. Story-wise, it's a little ambiguous. But I hate it because they never had a normal Miru in that style. It was just Miru of the
Dude, you're
Masks.
such a one-track mind.
I'm just saying.
Lead with this,
okay,
lead with that, mirror this, mirror that. I care about the principles.
Why? You don't even go to school anymore. Wait, no, hang on.
I'm in college right now.
Yeah, maybe you do care about the principles. But listen, I'm just saying, like, I wanted to see more things in that style because I thought it was a risk. And I thought it paid off very well because you have literal biomechanical beings that look as they're described. TLR didn't do that.
But it was a little more set act.
Journey to One didn't do that either.
Yeah, it was cool. I preferred both of those. Are you really going to tell me Mask of Light visual style is better than Journey to One?
I'm not saying it's better. I'm just saying they're different and they have pros and cons.
They'll have a lot of cons.
Like what? What don't you like about the Miramax style?
It looks gross.
How?
It doesn't look like my toys.
Yes, it does.
Kid me wanted to play with the Makuta I got that had like a beak.
Okay, in all fairness, Makuta was a substantial departure. I'll agree with you there.
Yeah.
He's probably the worst defender. Him and Takanuva, ironically enough, are the worst defenders.
Which is pretty fun. Wasn't there like a Makuta prototype?
Yes.
Like
so the Makuta in the movie is based off of the Makuta 2003 prototype set.
Okay.
And a copy of that was actually for sale on eBay at some point in the recent years.
I remember. I forget how much it went for. Does anybody know how much that went for on eBay?
Too much.
It was a few hundred, I think. I was tempted to get it.
I was not.
I was. That was a history. It was probably more than that, actually. When I said that out loud, there's no way it was just a few hundred. It was a couple thousand.
Couple thousand, yeah.
I'm way underselling that.
That sounds more correct.
Because, yeah, like prototype masks go for a few hundred sometimes.
But yeah, no. I think it was worth the attempt, but I agree in the sense that they should have tried a little harder to stick closer to the sets.
Yeah.
Just a little bit, though, because I still think it was really good.
I don't disagree. I'm being a little hard on it, just to be mean, but I do genuinely prefer what they did later in the theme. But, preferences. There were other things that year. Well, that was where we got Greg's first books.
Correct, and Greg's introduction to the community, because 2003 was when Greg officially made an account on BZ Power and got the go-ahead to start answering fan questions online. And that continued until 2022.
Very true.
Yeah.
That's pretty crazy. And Greg's first books, he changed. Wait.
Actually, that was the year we got all of the books to begin with, because Greg did the novelization for Mask of Light, but the prior books before that were Kathy Hopka. So it was when we first got books going over the first 2 years, plus the third.
Yeah.
It's when we got the bohrok-kal and their nonsense. It's when we got the Rakshi.
We love Rakshi. The Rakshi are among the best Bionicle set villains. They are my second favorite Horde villain sets.
What's your first?
On any given day, it's a toss-up between the bohrok and the Vaki. But I think the bohrok. Everybody loves bohrok, come on.
Nah, that's fair.
But the Rakshi are really cool. They had bendable knees, which is a big deal. They had Krana, which...
Not as much of a big deal. So 2003 was also the introduction of the bloated collectibles. Because in 2001 you have masks. You got 2 sets of masks. So realistically you got, was it 36 masks total that you could collect between the Toa and the Turaga, I think.
That sounds right.
In 2002, that got inflated to 96 total collectibles because you had the Krana, both the normal, the active ones, and then the dormant ones for the Va. And in 2003, you had Toa Nuva masks, metallic Toa Nuva masks, the bohrok-kal, krana-kal, and the Krata for the Rakshi. The Krata for the Rakshi, oh gosh, what was that number? It was in the hundreds.
Did I hate Krana so much?
340. It was specifically krana? Specifically 342.
Dude,
That is for all very, very minorly different colored slugs.
I hate kranas so much. No judgment on anyone that collects them. I think it's incredibly impressive. Whenever I see a big krana collection, I'm like, drops. This is awesome. But they're just little slugs. They're disgusting. I saw a trans orange one from the shoes on eBay for like $900
They go
last year.
for big money.
I'm like, you're literally paying for like a squishy slug the size of your pinky finger, $900.
I mean, consider people do that for minifigures.
Yes, but I would say minifigures are a sizable amount better than a pinky slug.
Well, listen. How much would you pay for the forbidden gummy?
No, I would maybe 10. It's a
Imagine.
slug.
You ever heard? Okay, so there's a quote on this image. It's like, we're all temporary. We'll all eventually be forgotten. And it's followed up by a guy saying, not unless I eat the Mona Lisa. I could go down in history if I took one of those little Nike slugs.
Is this a challenge?
Eat it, eat it, eat it.
I would consider. I don't have one.
Eat
Do you see any friggin' Nike slugs? I don't.
But if we could crowdfund this, if we could create a Nike slug, if we could...
We have so much better to spend our money on. There's so many other things. We could crowdfund like a Bionicle fan film. We're getting Christian Faber out here.
Could I be crowdfund you eating a slug? That's a good use of my money. I don't know about you guys.
We're moving on.
Okay.
Bottom line is 2003.
Yeah, man, I'm down with you eating 2 slugs.
2003 had a lot of collectible bloat. There was just so much, and I think that Lego overcorrected in later years. And I think they had the key to success in the first year. That was perfect, and I think following it up the next year was fine, but it got way too out of hand in the third year.
People like masks. People do not like rubbery things or that are small and not distinguishable.
Yeah. That said, something had to have worked. 2003 was one of Bionicle's largest years. It was, I can never remember if it was 100% of their profit or 100% of their revenue for the entire year of 2003. Bottom line, when Lego was going through financial hardships in the early 2000s, Bionicle in 2003 was their anchor. It was the thing keeping it afloat. If Bionicle was not doing well in 03, Lego might not be owned by the same family. It might be owned by some other company.
Wow. Wasn't 03 also when we got the first, the first console Bionicle video game?
Not a handheld console. We've gotten handheld console games before, but
Yeah.
the first home console.
Bionicle the game.
Yes, because the one that was going to come out in 2001 got canceled. And then yes, so Bionicle the game, which we played here in 2019.
I did amazingly. I showed my true gamer status.
Oh yeah,
I
you
beat
did.
every level flawlessly.
You were really bad at it. Woo!
That was fun. I like that game. It's not a perfect game. I wouldn't even say it's necessarily a good game.
No.
But I like it. I like it a lot.
Yeah. It's a big deal. 03 had a lot when you think about it, between the books, comics, the movie.
Comics
sets,
were big. At
game.
one point in 2003, the Bionicle comics were the most widely distributed comic series globally in the world, beating Superman and Batman. They were super popular.
It seems wrong, but it is true. Yeah. We love to see it, truly.
Yep.
All in all, 03, it's not one of my favorite years. I'm always going to be an Ignition trilogy kind of a guy, but 03, I recognize it as one of the best for what it brought to the table. It was a really big year for Bionicle. It set the stage, it diversified its media, it had some of the most stuff on offer, and all of it's memorable. Well, most of it's memorable.
It was also the first big cliffhanger that Bionicle gave us. It capped off the golden years with the iconic quote, "You are not the first Toa."
And everything
Changed the game.
forever.
Changed
Some
the freaking
people
game.
would say for the worse. Not
I
me,
thought it was
but-
good.
Yeah.
I thought it was good.
Yeah.
But no, I agree. 2003 is not one of my super favorite years, but I'm a huge fan of the golden years. 01, 02, 03 are my favorites.
Out of the golden years, 03 is my favorite.
Out of the golden years, 03 would probably be my least favorite.
What?
Yep.
Dude, the bohrok year didn't even have a story.
Yes, it did.
Collect mask.
Yeah, like the first. Okay, listen, this whole freaking story thing. 01 is the best of the golden trilogy. It's got so much. You've got the sandbox, you've got the characters, the situations. You can enter the world as you like. You can learn about the world. With friggin' 2002, you got the bohrok, which are incredible sets. You got the bohrok-kal, you got the boxer. You got the Toa Nuva, which, listen, I get they're controversial, but at least it's an iteration. It gives us something to discuss as far as like set progression and design.
Elj, you can enter Lego through a box of Duplo, but it's not going to rank on anybody's favorite list.
Guarantee you it would rank on someone's favorite list. Bottom line, the other thing that I'm a little, that brings 03 down for me a little bit is the heavy introduction of metallics and grays. We got a much more muted color scheme for 2003 collectively than we did for 01 and 02.
Toa Nuva.
In 02, Toa Nuva also still had, they had some metallics, but it wasn't to the degree of like the bohrok-kal, which metallics were their secondary.
When did we get silver and gold Nuva masks? Was that in 03?
The metallic Toa Nuva masks? I think that was 03.
Okay, fair enough.
I looked at Alan and he like shakes his head. He's like, yes, all right.
When in doubt, look to Alan in the crowd.
Okay, yeah. So either way though, it's still a really good year. It brought us the movie, which is of course iconic. It's fantastic. And there were a lot of really great things about 03. And the rock shoe, of course, as we already talked about.
I'm glad we could be here to talk about it and commemorate it, because it is a big deal. Without it, BIONICLE would not have gone on nearly as long.
And possibly not even Lego.
That's true.
So,
do we want to do some Q&A?
I would love to.
15 so minutes?
Yeah, let's do some Q&A. All right, so hands up. We're going to keep questions short, just bear in mind. Go ahead. What's your question? Yes.
Yeah, I mean, in terms of like a BIONICLE movie, we've always wondered like what a BIONICLE movie could be like. And similar franchises and similar influences, they hit the same notes. And I definitely think seeing what the Mask of Light was able to do on a small scale, I will always wonder, what if we'd got like a big, high budget, big theatrical BIONICLE movie when it was at its peak?
It's waiting for me.
And then I remember that the plan was going to be to have a human kid into the BIONICLE world, and I don't want that anymore, because that's what it would have been, realistically.
Yeah. Good?
How long could we survive if we were in the BIONICLE world? Because they don't eat actual food. For anybody that doesn't know, some of you might in the audience who doesn't follow BIONICLE, so they would not drink this water. What they would do is they would put their hands out and they would absorb the life energy from this bottle of water, and it would enter their body. Or like if you give me an apple, I guess they would just like drain the apple dry.
So, kind of. But also, we have to talk about which BIONICLE world. Island of Motunui, we would be fine because it has organic fruits and vegetables, which the BIONICLE characters can eat. They just choose not to.
If it's inside, we're screwed.
It also has fish. So we'd have meat, we'd have vegetables, grain, etc., etc. We'd be fine there. Interior, everything's metallic. We'd probably get our fill of colloidal silver, turn blue, and then eventually die.
Okay,
Very quickly.
but could energized protodermis make food?
Maybe it's a chance.
If you throw an uncooked pizza into an energized protodermis pool,
Then you either destroy the pizza or get a pizza monster. There's no guarantee it's going to cook that. Why wouldn't you just find a fire? Why do you need energized protodermis to cook a friggin' pizza, Meso? Yeah!
dude, I love radioactive pizza. I had a toxic waste drink the other day.
Okay.
It was really cool. All right. What is it?
Right there. Ever fly a gecko bird?
Well, today's for quick learning. No foot walking, just air flying.
Thank you.
Right away.
You want me to give it a serious question or a joke question?
Your choice.
Are we just going to ignore the fact that that movie gave a lot to
We are. We're going to ignore the fact that Liwa Nuva in the movie has teeth. Yes. Absolutely.
But it's not like Liwa only had. It's not like Liwa was the only one with teeth. The Legend Reborn also.
Yeah, I mean,
There's
that's
moments
true.
where they all have
Liwa was the only one in
disgusting
Mask of
bionic
Light that had teeth. I'm just going to assume that it's carrying over the Miru traits. You know, the Miru has a big smile, so Liwa Nuva has teeth to smile. That's what I'm going to go with. What was your second question?
I mean, I can definitely see that. I've read a lot of really good articles about that, talking about how Takua's journey to become Takanuva could be like an allegory for someone discovering their identity, becoming trans, and like actualizing themselves. I think it's cool. I think it's cool how people can see different interpretations of what that means. I don't necessarily know if that was their intention when writing the story.
It's 2003.
It's 2003, so probably not. But I appreciate that Bionicle, and a lot of Bionicle, is very like interpretive in that sense. And you see a lot of people who've gotten a lot of good meaning and good inspirational messages through it, and I think that's really cool.
Yeah, I don't really have anything to add. So, yes.
Were there ever plans to make a movie based on the 2006 one?
So, kind of.
I think so.
Christian Faber talked a little bit about this. They were approached by some movie studios with a script, and they hated the script so much that I don't remember why exactly. They just didn't feel like it was very good. That it inspired them over the course of like an evening or something to come up with the Ignition trilogy to show how it should be done. So, kind of, sort of, but also not really, if that makes sense.
I mean, what I remember, I think I talked about this in a video a long time ago. Miramax, they had announced, what was this? Some of the movies were supposed to be in theaters at one point, I believe. There was a poster for Metro Nui that Faber shared in the Faber files. It was like, in theaters, something 2024. Eventually that was obviously downgraded to direct-to-video. Then Miramax, I think, went out of business. They went bankrupt, right?
I don't remember.
Yeah, but eventually the partnership was severed one way or another. And I don't think Lego had another studio lined up. But I would be willing to bet before Miramax went under, there were plans to do more movies. And that would have just by default have been 2006. But obviously those went up in smoke. So, Tel Aviv. I don't think Ignition could have been a good movie anyway. It would have needed a series.
That's fair. Yeah. In the back, black shirt.
Do you have any characters you had a crush on in the story?
Did we have any characters we had a crush on in the story?
I did not. Despite what some former hosts of ours would suggest, I definitely did not.
What would our former hosts suggest? Did they say you had a thing for Rudaka?
No, it was Galley.
Golly.
Remember, Smeeky?
I don't remember anything
Man.
about Suzuki.
But yeah, no, no, that's gonna be a no for me.
Not personally. Robots aren't really my speed. I know a lot of us were big on Udaka, but not my speed. Alright, who's next?
You. Oh
So
no.
following on the last question, would you be interested in investing in a bionicle dating sim that we're currently developing?
So someone was working on a bionicle dating sim. The question, by the way, was, would you be interested in investing in a bionicle dating sim that we're working on?
Yes. TTV will take our thousands upon tens of thousands of capital. We will pour it into that development of that dating sim. Because we
Hang on,
are
no. There's a stipulation. You know what I want. Okay, first of all, does this feature like actual characters, or are they unique characters? They made
Well,
up
they're gonna
characters.
be super wide. But like,
It's not an answer.
Like, are the Toa gonna be in?
Yeah.
Like the hottest mecha you've ever seen.
Okay. You know what I want.
No Liwa.
I voice Liwa.
Dude, he's such a
Deal.
one-track. He's
Done.
one-track minded.
Listen, I'm dedicated. I'm laser
Do you even-
focused on the goal.
Do you even like Bionicle, or do you just like Liwa?
I like Bionicle a lot more than you, from what your earlier remark.
The only voice character in the game. Everything else is text.
Deal. Done.
All
Okay. Very good.
Next question.
All right. Let's see. Right over there, blue shirt. What happened to Puku after 2003? Puku went back to Onapu, and then eventually went back. Puku was at one point under Jala's care, and then under Onapu's care, and eventually back under Orcum's care. Orcum was Puku's original owner.
So he just gets passed around, but
She, yeah.
she just gets passed around to different like owners.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's a bit sad.
That's what I recall at the very least. All right, next question. Right there. So Bionicle all starts in 2001, right? Okay, so 6 canisters wash up on a golden beach, and out of these canisters come the. You got to stop me, otherwise I'm just going to go on. I'm going to answer this question. Pink hat.
Yes. So in terms of my preferences,
Real quick, the question, if you could just repeat it.
The question was, because I don't like the Miramax style, is there any style I do like? Like, for instance, the game, because it resembles the toys more.
Is animation real cinema, Meso? You have to answer this right now.
Yes. I like animation.
Continue then.
I'm a bit more partial to the Bionicle the game style, if I'm being honest, but like only in that picture because it looks high res. In the actual game, it's crusty, and I'm not a fan of it at all. But my preference will always be Bionicle Journey to 1. For as much flack as G2 gets, and I think it's deserved that it gets it, and I've given it, trust me. I think it balanced the two sides of being stylized, but also looking like the toy, and it had this kind of painterly style where it really popped out, it had a lot of bright, vivid colors, and to me, that's the best Bionicle style I've seen so far. But yeah, I mean, I like Bionicle the game too, it's better.
That's fair. All right, any other question? Go ahead. Oh no.
What elements of the bionicle franchise are
Ooh.
This is like the first big one.
I was scared since you were sitting next to Josh what your question was going to be. For everyone, the question is perfect. The question was, what elements of Bionicle are most prevalent in today's original LEGO IPs? I got that right. I would definitely say elemental usage, literally using the elements. So like fire, water, and stuff like that. Those are a pretty solid core. I would say an ensemble team would be
That's
the other
the
one.
biggest one for me, because when you see all the story themes of today, you always see it's a bunch of different people coming together, and they have different skills. Sometimes they have different elements, and they work together as one, usually with a message about unity of some variety. And Bionicle obviously started that instead of just being like one guy, or like one guy and a sidekick, you know.
Also, bohrok-kals. They still exist. They're like one of the few Bionicle pieces made for Bionicle that are still in production nowadays.
Oh yeah.
So, so does that answer your question? Fantastic.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's see. Go ahead.
So, in the original script where there's human boy on the island, how did that human boy get there? Because the island's on another planet.
Unfortunately, I don't actually know.
In
There's
terms of the original script for the Bionicle movie with the human child that's been mentioned, if from what I recall, don't quote me, it was going to be a thing where like a human gets sucked into the Bionicle world by way of some like isekai portal thing.
He gets hit by a bus. The Bionicle van!
Bionicle van!
Yes! I knew it!
So it was, you know, your standard kid gets sucked into another realm, yada yada yada. That kind of plot.
Yeah, but there's a short synopsis on at the bottom of the Biosector 01 page for Mask of Light, and that's I think the most that we know about it.
Yeah.
2 more questions, would you say?
Yeah.
Okay, we'll do 2 more questions.
Do Alan.
Let's see.
Do Alan.
Yeah. Alan.
In here, a lot talk about Titans. So, best Titan 2003.
Ooh, great. Okay, Titans from 03, best one.
Are we gonna count Rahi?
Yes. 2003.
Because I like Makuta as much as the next guy, but he's pretty janky.
He can be. He's basically a big Rachi build.
He was their first attempt at it, really, so I kind of respect it, but I don't really like how he looks. I'm very partial to Puku. I think they nailed what they were trying to do with that, and it had a pretty good function.
I am going to say, because Takanuva and Usanui are still categorized as a Titan. So I'm going to go Takanuva and the Usanui because Puku, in my experience, has always been super rickety. Like I'll roll her across and a bunch of legs start coming out. And like, listen, I'm not in the mood for crab legs. And it's trying to force that on me. So I'm going to go Takanuva and the Usanui. All right, one more question right there. Yes. So you want to hear any thoughts on the bohrok-kal animations? Is that right? Oh, Manog 2. Oh, shoot. I forgot about Manog 2.
We completely forgot about Manog 2. Not to shill, but on our YouTube channel, the TTV channel, we do have a full playthrough of Manog 2 among Manog 1 from like a decade ago at this
Close,
point.
we're coming up on a decade.
Coming up
we're
on
going to
a
have to
decade.
do a replay.
We will. I hate that game with a passion. Never has there been a bigger downgrade disappointment than Manog to Manog 2. But it is more of a game. Like it has more gameplay elements. You know, it has a stat system. It has like buying and selling. So it's kind of cool.
It's got a lot of pros and cons. It's just that it's a great game for Bionicle. It's a terrible game because it launched buggy. It launched completely broken, and rumor has it that that's because Lego and Templar were having a falling out around that time. I don't know how much of that I buy because Templar went on to do more animations for for 2004. But I think that it's a good Bionicle game. But goodness gracious, it is the most infuriating thing to actually try and play.
I wanted to rip my hair out so many times. I got so mad. Those Coley games, and they took forever.
Oh my gosh, Maku was the worst friggin' goalie.
Actual pain. We are going to have to wrap up for today, I think, because I believe some others are going to be using this space and we want to vacate it. But I wanted to say thank you all so much for coming out to celebrate Bionicle 2003 with us. If you asked a question, please come up and get a comic when we're finished. And we will now close by doing a live Brickfair reenactment of the Bionicle Jam, complete.
No,
fully
no,
produced
no,
by
Ben, get the music. Ben, get the music. No, negative. Not happening.
Bionicle
No,
Jam.
play music.
Bionicle at Brickfair. Woo! Oh, this friend, we're going to end this show. It's nap time now. So now I'm going to give a 10-hour lecture on why Hero Factory is the best team. So for starters, William Furno's character arc was really great. Him trying to become a leader. Oh no, I'm getting started. No.
Get out of here.
All
We're
right.
over.
Streaming from Brickfair. I am Meso.
I'm Eljay.
And this was Dominic Forte. Farewell, everybody.